If you've got a toddler in your life, chances are you have heard of Miss Rachel. She's a YouTube phenomenon who seems to have this, well, almost magical ability to connect with young kids. But is it really magic, or is there a method to it? In this explainer, we're going to go under the hood and break down the research-backed techniques that make her so incredibly effective.
And usually starts with something simple, just like this: a friendly, high-pitched voice repeating a key word. But believe it or not, this is way more than just baby talk. These words are actually the opening notes to a really sophisticated teaching symphony.
So what is it? What makes these seemingly simple words so powerful for a little kid's developing brain? How does this method actually manage to capture their attention, teach them language, and even build emotional skills? Okay, let's dive in.
First things first, it's not just about what she's saying, it's all about how she's saying it. The actual sound of her voice is the foundation for the entire method.
The secret ingredient is a technique called parentese, and this isn't just random goo-goo gaga talk. No, this is a real, scientifically recognized way of speaking that has been proven to grab an infant's attention and literally help their brain process the sounds and structure of language.
So what does parentese actually sound like? Well, it's got a few key ingredients. The tempo is really slow and deliberate. You can hear it in her songs about snails or mice. The intonation is super exaggerated with these big emotional words like wow or uh-oh that are just easy for a baby's brain to latch onto. And of course, there's simple, non-stop repetition of those first words, combined with perfectly clear enunciation. Every single sound is intentional.
Okay, so once she's got a child's attention using parentese, how does she actually teach and reinforce a single core word? Well, the method is surprisingly multi-layered.
It's a full-on multi-sensory approach. She doesn't just say the word. First, she models it nice and clear. Then she turns it into a little song. She musicalizes it. After that, she physicalizes it by clapping out the syllables. And finally, she adds a visual by signing it. So in just a few seconds, she has hit that child's auditory, kinesthetic, and visual learning pathways. She's cementing that one word from 4 different angles.
And you know, it's not just about vocabulary. Sprinkled all through her lessons are phrases just like this one. This simple bit of praise reinforces the entire learning process. It's teaching a toddler to listen, try something, and then get positive feedback. It's not just teaching them what to learn, it's teaching them how to learn.
From there, the method just gets bigger. Simple words become the building blocks for more complex ideas, and it's all cleverly disguised inside familiar songs and games.
Take this example. On the surface, it's just a cute song about a mouse and a snail, right? But by putting those 2 verses right next to each other, she's teaching the abstract concept of opposites, fast and slow, in a way that's physical, memorable, and honestly, just fun.
And we see the exact same technique for teaching yes and no. By asking a totally silly question like, does a shoe go on my head? She creates a really clear reason for the word no. Then she immediately pairs that word with the physical action of shaking your head. She does the same thing for yes and nodding. It's concrete, it's interactive, and it works.
You know, even a simple game like peekaboo is a really powerful teaching tool here. It's not just about getting a quick laugh. It's a direct lesson in a huge cognitive milestone called object permanence. That's the idea that things and people still exist even when you can't see them, which is a massive developmental leap for a young child's brain.
Okay, now let's talk about math using a classic song. It starts with 5 little monkeys, and this isn't just a song, it's a story about counting down. She turns it into a rapid-fire lesson in subtraction. So 1 monkey falls off, and the number visually and audibly changes. And it's that repetition of the tune that really helps lock in the sequence for the child.
And because every verse is almost exactly the same, their brain can focus on the one thing that is changing, the number itself.
All the while, the simple story, monkeys jumping, falling, calling the doctor, keeps them totally engaged. They're not just counting, they're following a little narrative that has a clear cause and effect.
And the countdown ends with that final, clear instruction from the doctor: no more monkeys jumping on the bed. It's a great ending to the story and one last reinforcement of the entire counting sequence.
But the curriculum doesn't stop with cognitive skills like language and math. It actually extends into social and emotional development, which is just as important, if not more so.
And the social-emotional teaching is super explicit. She directly labels emotions like happy and sad and connects them to facial expressions.
She models basic social things like waving and high fives. She even sings about friendship and encourages positive self-talk with phrases like, "I did it," after they do something. These are the absolute building blocks for emotional intelligence.
So when you put it all together, the Ms. Rachel method is really this powerful three-part formula. It starts with parentees to grab their attention, uses multisensory repetition to make concepts stick, and then packages the whole thing in play-based learning, using songs and games to make really complex ideas feel like fun.
So the real takeaway here is that this isn't just about screen time. The principles of the Mrs. Rachel method, clear communication, repetition, being playful, and positive reinforcement, these are all tools that any of us can use. So the real question is, how can these techniques change the way we communicate with the children in our own lives?